course will have the introduction. So let me just start asking you some questions. In your opinion, how do you define artificial intelligence? If someone asked you to explain the meaning of artificial intelligence, what would be your explanation of this or your definition of artificial intelligence? Please, let's have a small chat and let me hear from you. What do you think artificial intelligence definition is? Anyone? Don't be shy. Just let's break the ice and start chatting and let me know your definition or what do you know about artificial intelligence? Can you share me anything from your side? Solange, can they write on the chat box now? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. Uh, would anyone try to give me any definition of artificial intelligence? I guess you are still shy, so let me define artificial intelligence to you. So artificial intelligence, it is something artificial. It's not natural. It is coming from sources or by training. So when I want to talk about artificial intelligence, it's mainly a software that imitates or does the things a human being do, just like imitating the human being acts or reactions. How does it do that? It does that by learning. So I am now developing a software. This software will help the machine to be acting or reacting as a human. So in order to do that, we need to teach this machine how a human will be responding to any cases. So it will have to be predicting outcomes, like whenever I give a human being some data to analyze, this human being, based on the knowledge that he has, so we have a human being that needs to analyze anything. In order to have the ability to analyze, this human being should have the knowledge that gives him the ability to analyze, to recognize, to give solutions, to compare, to see, to answer questions related to this data I am giving to this human being. So, in order to have an outcome from this human being, I should have a human being who has been educated and have the ability to analyze, compare, decide, and even talk and write and listen to this information. If these information are coming as text, this human being should have the ability to read. If these information are coming like pictures, I want to ask this human being about these pictures. This human being should have the ability to see these pictures. If I want this person or this human being to analyze a video, so this human being should be able to hear and understand the language that is being drafted or given within that video. So all these built-in capabilities in the human being through the senses that was given by God, which are the hearing, the seeing, the listening, the tasting, the touching, all these are capabilities of a human being. They need to be educated or trained in order to get more from this human being. So a normal human being has a knowledge, but an educated human being has more knowledge. So the more I give knowledge to this human being, the more information or analyzation or answering of questions and giving an output from any information that I give him, that will be better result, more efficient, more, let's say, organized. So this is the same with the machines. I am now trying to have a machine acting like a human being. I want this machine to predict the outcomes. I want this machine to recognize abnormal events. When something is abnormal or not usual happens, I need this machine to interpret visual input, as I told you, and understand the language and engage in conversations and extract information from sources to get knowledge. So these things that are mentioned here are the things that I want the machine to act like a human being. So before I have this ability from the machine, I should educate this machine. I should give it information, large information. I need to train this machine on how to interact with the information I am giving. These are the levels of artificial intelligence. The first thing is that I create the artificial intelligence machine, which will be created of a computing power, which is a computer that has a processor, a memory, and a storage. And I also need to feed this machine or this solution, which is called the artificial intelligence solution, with information related to the service that I want. Then I would be training this artificial machine or this artificial intelligence device on how to treat this information coming. This will be explained in details, don't worry, but I'm just giving you the idea. It's like training a small or a young children on how, or younger child on how to manage or manipulate the information he or she is receiving, and to get better results. As much information as I give to this child or to this machine, the more it can have the abilities to do this or that within the artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence is a machine or a software that I do train in order to get results from. Is that clear until now? Did you get the idea of the artificial machine or the artificial intelligence? So the artificial intelligence is our young baby that we want to educate by giving information, by training this baby or this machine on how to interact and deal with the information I'm giving in order to get better results. And as much information and analysis and ways to perform I give to this machine, the better results I will get from it. So, as an introduction, is that clear? Please let me hear your voices. Let me see the interaction. If everything is fine, so I can move to the next slide. Do you have any questions? Is this slide or this introduction about or definition about artificial intelligence clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
I need more yeses, please. You can just drop on the chat if you can. if you don't want to open your microphones. Okay, I will be moving to the next slide. I guess that you have everything clear till now, and it will be more clear during the explanation. Okay, now what are the workloads that are in artificial intelligence? Workloads or areas. We have the machine learning. Okay, so the first thing is the machine learning. This stage where I start teaching the machine and giving the machine information about what it should do or how it should act. The machine learning is a workload that needs some data to give to the machine and allow the machine or decide with the machine how to interact with this data based on what decisions. We'll be seeing that in action, don't worry. But the machine learning is a way of, or one of the things that I can do in order to train the machine to do things like comparison, like defining different areas, different things, like giving it information about, let's say, we have a laboratory that has a lot of patients that are having tests of blood, tests of weight, tests of sugars level, and we give this machine these results coming from different patients of different ages and start learning or teaching this machine how to define the results coming from these information and how to predict also and how to separate and categorize this information. So this information coming from difference of hundreds or thousands of patients, maybe another example, let's say a car manufacturer is selling cars or loaning cars, and different information coming from clients, maybe gender, maybe the country, maybe by size of the car. So whenever we have large information or big data, and we need the help of the artificial intelligence to categorize or predict outcomes, we have this is what is called the machine learning. So I have big data. I need to have results like analyzing of this data. I need to predict the outcome of the future related to this data. If it was selling, if it was patients, as I said, maybe I want to control or see how bad is a certain disease spreading. I need to have results coming from different types or large coming and making test results. I would need to collect information from different locations, from different hospitals, from different laboratories. So I would say that we have a disease that is spreading. And where does this come from? This comes from results of collecting information from different sources and analyzing these informations, and would be predicting the future of this disease. Another area, which is the anomaly detection, it detects abnormal or unusual events or patterns in order to do an action. Let's say we have also, I will be talking about the same example, which is the laboratory. Let's say we have a category of the blood sugar. The blood sugar أو مرض السكري, we say that it is a disease that starts at a certain age. Maybe it starts early whenever we have heredity in the family, but within these, we have like a pattern that says that this disease starts, for example, I'm not an expert with these things. This disease starts at the age of 40. This is what is called the known pattern or the normal pattern. Whenever I see an abnormal pattern coming, like persons having a lot of persons, a lot of patients are coming or starting to have this disease at an earlier age, let's say at 30, and we have too many cases. So this is what we call an abnormal detection, because we know that the normal pattern is the age of 40. But now we have a new line coming, or an abnormal detection, because the artificial intelligence can see the abnormal detection. We have now collective cases that are starting this disease at an earlier age. We have one, two cases. This is not a pattern, but when we start to have tens or thousands or hundreds, now we have something that is abnormal. So with artificial intelligence, if we teach it to study or to monitor the abnormal detection, it will be starting and reading and detecting these abnormal detections. Whenever we have these detections in hand, we can have what is called actions to do something like making an, let's say, advices to the clients or to the patients, like having doctors starting to analyze more patients to see what is the reason of this, why this pattern is happening, and how to solve it. Of course, we can do abnormal or anomaly detection in different fields, like in sales, like in advertisements, like anywhere else, but is what we should know about anomaly detection. It is the ability to detect the unusual patterns. Maybe, as I told you, in sales, maybe in healthcare, maybe in any other thing or any line that needs to be in a certain pattern, and suddenly we have an abnormal or unnormal pattern coming. And another important and very interesting workload, which is the computer vision. Let me ask you something, please. Just answer me, please. How do you think the computer sees, or what when you say that computer vision? In your opinion, how does a computer see? What are the eyes of a computer? Let me ask you the question in another way. If I need the computer or the artificial intelligence service to see, how can I give it this ability? I will
From the
ask it
camera?
through. Come again,
The
please.
camera?
Yes, of course. The cameras are the devices that are spread all over different areas. This camera can be, or these cameras, of course, can be the eyes that we can get information or see things from different areas or from different places, like on the highways, like on the streets, like on our houses, like on our business and warehouse and any place. Also, in addition to that, I can see, or the computer can see, from images or videos. So it has the ability to see from cameras, from images and videos. What is the interesting about this? It is not just seeing these videos or cameras. Back before we had artificial intelligence, we had a lot of cameras and they were monitoring streets, monitoring different places. We had images of different persons like suspects, like criminals, like good people, and we had videos of different things. What is the addition by artificial intelligence is the analysis of these pictures. Now, with the power of artificial intelligence, computer vision, now we have many things that can be done, like face detection. The face detection by itself is a revolution within the industry. Now, if we have a picture, if we have a video, or we have a camera or any output of a camera, whether it was a surveillance camera or a phone camera or any type of camera, now the computer vision can see the picture and analyze the picture and categorize the components of this picture. It can tell us, if we please ask the uh, sorry, the artificial intelligence, asking the artificial intelligence, please, let me know, what do you see in this picture? It will tell you, I can see uh, people, I can see vehicles, I can see buildings, I can see signs. Can you read these signs? Yes, I can read the signs. Can you detect if they are males or females? Yes, I can. Can you tell me the types of these vehicles? Yes, I can. I can tell you we have motorbikes, we can have cars, we have buses, we have different things. Also, let me ask you a more uh, silly question. It is silly between brackets. Can you tell me if people are happy or angry in this picture? Yes, I can do that. Can you tell me like what is written, or can you define this street if it is a, a, a street with stores or with restaurants or with what is the type of the street? Yes, I can. How can you do that? I can read the signs of the shops that are there, and I can tell you that these shops are mostly restaurants, these shops are mostly supermarkets or car rentals or whatever. So the artificial intelligence here, it's not just looking at pictures as flat pictures. No, it is defining the components of these pictures and have the ability to see and analyze even if these people are happy or not. So this is a very powerful computer vision. It is now able to decide and read everything with these cameras, as I told you, images and videos. Additional services are being added. Now we have a vice versa thing like that. We tell the artificial intelligence, please, I need you to give me a picture of a street, of a crowded street, crowded by taxi cars or crowded by people or crowded by shops or restaurants or whatever, so it can search the database or the information that was fed to that model. We call it a model. Whenever we have an artificial solution, we call it a model. This model have the ability to bring you different examples from different areas. You can be more specific. Please, I need a picture in Paris that includes taxi cars and people walking around it. Okay, I will do that for you. It will search its database and give you back these pictures, and you decide what to do with them. Another additional thing is now I can ask the artificial intelligence to draw a picture for me. You have different or many solutions related to that and many examples. I can tell it, please draw me a picture that includes an elephant drinking Coca-Cola. So the artificial intelligence will do that for you. Let me ask you, how would, or let's think about the methodology that is being followed within that. Would you give any explanation of how would an artificial intelligence do that? I will not expect an answer from you, but I will wait for 30 minutes. If any one of you have an answer, I would be grateful. If not, I will explain briefly how would that be done. Okay, so the answer of this is, as I told you earlier, by teaching the artificial intelligence. Whenever I teach the artificial intelligence and give it definitions for each and every object that I can, so as much objects and definitions I give to artificial intelligence, the more and better outcome I can get from it. So if, let's say, I give it a database for animals, I would give it, let's say we have 10,000 species of animals. That's just a number from my mind. I don't know how much or how many animals are there in the real world. But let's say we have 10,000 types of animals or species of animals. I define or teach the artificial intelligence about 5,000 of them by giving a picture of the animal to the artificial intelligence and a name, which is a label for that picture. So I have one picture of an elephant, I have one picture of a giraffe, of a monkey, of a donkey, blah, 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 blah. So I give it one picture of each species. Is that enough? No, it's not enough. I should give many different pictures about these animals. So if I have 10,000 animals, I should give at least 5 up to 25 examples of different pictures of each of these. You might say, why? In order to see different positions, different types, different sizes, because as you know, we have a baby giraffe, we have an adult giraffe, we have a male giraffe, and a female giraffe. So in order to educate it well, we should give it different examples. So this is the learning. Whenever I need to teach, I should give the model which is the artificial intelligence solution, as much as I can. We have the natural language processing, which is the applications now can read, write, and listen or speak different languages and act like a human being. We have the virtual agents that we can talk to through websites or through any help support. Now, most of the support services on websites from well-known companies are using these virtual agents or chatbots, and these chatbots can listen, read in different languages, and also answer by text, or also we can have bots that can speak and sound and look like a human being. The last field, or the until now, which is the knowledge mining, when I start talking about big data. This knowledge mining is now a trend within the artificial intelligence. So if you are still under consideration of what am I going to do in future, or what am I going to study in the future to have a good income in money and income in knowledge, you go ahead and start with data, talking with about data processing or data mining or data science. We call it data science. This is the place where I feed the artificial intelligence with big data like and related to different fields, related to different solutions, related to anything. I should prepare these tons and tons, terabytes, petabytes of data and put it in storage and use it in a factory, a data factory, in order to extract information from it. Let me make it easier or explain it in an easier way. Let's say we have all the information in a database that is related like Wikipedia. You know how large the information in Wikipedia. So if I need to search something on Wikipedia, I would go to the search, which is very simple. I type what I am looking for. So the data within the database of or databases of Wikipedia are huge. In order to get the best answers and the fastest answers, I need to have or to manage or deal with this information in a way that makes it fast and easy to be reached. This is what I'm calling or I'm talking about. I'm talking about data science and the knowledge mining. The artificial intelligence now has the ability to extract information from different data sources and from different storages that are on the internet or locally or wherever this information and give you the knowledge base or knowledge store that you want. Like an example, as I told you, a small example is Wikipedia. A very big example or large example is Bing or Google. You have in Google or in Bing just a text box that you type whatever you are searching for, and whenever you start typing, it will start gathering or bringing up information related to what you are typing and start giving suggestions in order to help you get the best of these searches you are doing. So as we can see, there are some principles whenever we need to have a solution of artificial intelligence. These are the principles I'm talking about. The fairness, the solution should be fair. It should not be because since it is a machine, of course it would be fair. Nothing that and will interact with the decision of the artificial intelligence because after all, it's not a human. It doesn't have feelings. It can't be manipulated with because we have rules that say when you need to have a loan, for example, you will not be having any discrimination by gender or to differences or bias in the data which it was trained on because it has no human feelings. It would not be affected by anything. So when we design our artificial intelligence solution, we are sure or we should make sure that this artificial intelligence solution would be fair. It would be treating the human as a case with conditions. يعني, if I need to set a loan condition or loan conditions, I would say that these conditions are A, B, C, D. Whoever needs to have a loan and is complying with this condition will get the loan. No matter if he was African, Asian, American, white, black, tall, short, a female or a male. These things will not affect the decision of the artificial intelligence solutions. This is a rule should be followed whenever we are trying or we're doing any artificial intelligence solution. These are the principles of what is called the responsible AI. Another important thing is the reliability and safety. Now, artificial intelligence software are controlling manufacturers, are controlling cars, are controlling maybe ships, maybe planes, maybe arms that are related to uh, armies or war vehicles. So this application should be 100% reliable and safe. It should not take any decision that might cause any harm. This is very important. So another thing related to responsible AI is the privacy and security, because as you know, when we're talking about information, we're talking about data, these data should be usable, but not unprivate. It should be aware that you can use this information within your solution, but you can use this solution in a safe way and not do not share your information or employees' information or government information with anyone who does not have the authority to do so. It also, these solutions should, this is what's called privacy and security. We have the inclusiveness. The solution may not work for everyone, okay? The applications should work with everyone. It is not inclusive to anyone. It is something like the fairness, but it can say that, let's say, a predictive application provides no audio output for visually impaired users, which means that if I need to have a solution that should be spread for everyone, it should take into consideration the cases where we have people who can't see, or people who can't hear, or maybe people who can't walk. So this solution may not work for everyone. So it should take into consideration the cases and have the solution for such cases. This is something like the accessibility options that are differently used and for different, let's say, impaired person that who can't hear or who can't see or who can't walk. So this should be taking into consideration this situation. The transparency, it is very transparent. The developer or the one who is making the solution should make it very transparent, so that if we are using, for example, any financial tool, we should have it giving the reasons and the explanations and why it did this or why it did that very clear and transparent. You can't hide any result, or you can't hide any decision result. Why was it made? It was made because this and that. Your loan was refused because A, B, C, D. Because this is the explanation. This is the transparency. So the solution should be transparent. And accountability. Okay, the accountability is that you can count on that solution. Let me explain it. It means that you can trust this solution by, let me give you an example. When you have a decision made by artificial intelligence, let's say this decision is coming from a law firm. Law firm is using artificial intelligence. So as a client or as a person, I should have something like a framework that has the governance and the organizational principles to ensure that this solution was following all the ethical and legal standards that are defined by government or by any solution. So when I say it is accountable, because it is following the rules that makes things clear and things are following certain rules and certain standards that makes my solution or the solution provided by the artificial intelligence based on rules and ethical standards. Okay? Let's see the artificial intelligence in Microsoft Azure. In order to work with the artificial intelligence in Microsoft Azure, you should have the following services or the following components. The first thing you should have is a subscription. You should have a subscription in Azure. Let me show you in real world scenario. This is, I would go back to start everything from zero, portal.azure.com. This is how you log into Azure. You type portal.azure.com. Here it will ask you for the credentials that you have. We'll select this credential and it will take me to the page or to the main portal of Azure Cloud Services. As you can see here, this is my home page. This is the main page. This is the place where I create solutions. The things that I want. This is the first thing is the access to Azure portal. The next thing is the, did you see what I was doing? No, you didn't. This is the Azure portal. Now, can you see it? Okay, thank you, Athena. Please let me know when I ask a question, just send me a high finger or anything, okay? So this is the portal where I create my resources. As you can see here, this is the place where I search for services and resources. All I need to do is, let me type artificial. Let me just say this word, artificial intelligence. Since I typed artificial, so as you can see, this is a word that Azure machine learning, this is what I was talking about. Let me say computer vision. Okay, these are the services that are available within Azure. Let's say virtual agent. Okay, here I can create virtual agents. Let me say AI. As you can see, AI, I would be having different things. So here is the place where I will start the services. As you can see here, we have Azure services, AI services, machine learning. We have lots of these. Let me press on one of these. As you can see, here are the different things that I might have as artificial intelligence services. Azure OpenAI, this is the OpenAI where I can create different services. Cognitive services, these are the services that are related to natural languages. Here is the artificial intelligence service related to computer vision, to face detection, speech services, custom vision, language services, translator. As you can see here, bot services, which are the virtual agents. As you can see here, from within Azure, I can create all these different services. But what I need is, again, I need to have a subscription in Azure. Okay, I need to have a subscription. Then after I have this subscription that allows me to enter and start creating services or resources in Azure, the first thing I need to do is a resource group. A group is a container that should be created before creating any service. I will take you again to the portal. As you can see here, let me get back to any of these. Let me choose any of these. Let me say just I need that to create a computer vision service. I would press on create. So as you can see, the first two things it is asking about is the subscription. I do have my subscription and the resource group. If I have a resource group, if I already have a resource group, which I have many of these, I can create this resource with them, or maybe I need to create a new resource group for the devices or for the solution I am, or so resources I am creating for this service. I would say, let's say artificial AI, sorry, I would, sorry. I would press on create a new and I would say AI 900 November UDST. Okay, this resource group is just a folder that will hold the solutions I'm going to create. It's nothing but a small container or a virtual container. What is the name of this service? I would call it UDST Computer Vision. Okay. Then as name is either invalid or already in use. Let me just try to. Only alphabetic characters must be 226 start over UDST 2023. This is just a name. AI 900 November 11. I'm sure it will. Okay, this is the name of the computer vision service I'm creating. Of course, the details or the services, some of them are free, as you can see, and some of them you should pay. I would select the free one and responsible AI notice, the things that I explained, you should be aware of and you should follow these. And whenever you are following and accepting these rules, you would be pressing on accept and then you press on review create. If everything you have identified is approved, then you would be having a create lighting on and showing clearly that you can create, and then you create this resource. So this is how I do it. I need, as I told you, the subscription, the resource group. Of course, Azure would give me the computing power needed for that solution, which are the processing and the memory and the storage, and it will be creating the service that I would be needing. So in brief words, in order to create any artificial intelligence or any resource on Azure, Azure is the place or the service, the cloud services by Microsoft. Within these services, I have artificial intelligence services that I can create and host within Azure. So in order to do that, I should have what is called the subscription. There are different ways to get a subscription. We have a personal subscription that you can create using your own credit card. It won't charge anything, just it would be free for 1 month and it would not charge any amount of your credit card. It would be using the credit card only for identification or verification. Another way is to have a school or a university account registered with Microsoft, and you would get your free account or your free subscription. And there are other ways to get a subscription if you are in a company or you're buying or purchasing a service from Azure. So, as I told you, we have different services within Azure. We have seen many examples of these. I've shown that to you. We have machine learning, we get cognitive services, Azure bot services, and cognitive searches. As I told you, cognitive services, they are applications that uh, are within, or resources that are within Azure subscription. You can create them and you can use them in order to do the cognitive services related to, as I told you earlier, and explain the cognitive services that are related to text recognition and whatever these are. So we have also a lab for this uh, module. We will be joining this lab, doing this lab after we finish these explanations. But now let's see and answer, try to answer this review that is related to the first module, and see if we can answer this. I will leave these questions in front of you. And the first one is that if you want to create a model to predict sales of ice cream based on data that includes daily ice cream sales, totals, and weather measurements, which Azure service would you be using? The machine learning, the Azure bot, or the cognitive service? Let me see you answering, please. So, any answers? So, the answer is Azure Machine Learning. The next question, which is you are designing an AI application that uses image to detect cracks in car windshields and warn driver when a windshield should be repaired or replaced. So I am using something like images. Excellent, Athena, but you should have answered earlier. I will wait for your answer now. What AI workload is described? If you like, open your micro and answer. Let's see the answer. Athena answered computer vision. Excellent. This is the right answer. So the last question is a predictive application provides audio output and visually for a visually impaired user. Which principle of responsible AI is reflected here? And we have an answer which is inclusiveness, and this is excellent. So now, after this first module, I guess you deserve a 15 minutes break. Let me see if we have anything more than that. So then we had the introduction to artificial intelligence. We defined or uh, explained what is artificial intelligence. We have some common artificial intelligence workloads explained. We had the principles of responsible AI, and we had artificial intelligence and Microsoft Azure. How do we create it? How do we use it? How do we create this service? So I will give you now a break for 15 minutes. If you have any questions before we go to the break, please let me know. Hello again. May I get your attention, please? If you are back, let me know. Just raise a finger or say or react in any way so that I can start. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Athena, and thank you, Abdul Hakim. Thank you, Fatima. I will be starting with the next model. I hope the first model you got the introduction about the definition of artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence within Azure. Now we'll be talking about the fundamentals of machine learning. Now let's start with this model. I will be introducing the machine learning and to Azure machine learning. We'll talk about machine learning in general and Azure machine learning and how do we do that. So let's say what is machine learning. Machine learning is the ability or the way how do we teach or learn the machine or give the machine the learning in order to this machine or to give the artificial intelligence model. Again, a model is the solution that solves the things that we want it to solve or do the things that we want to do. The steps behind creating a module is to first learn or give the machine the learning in order to give it to the ability to predict, to solve, or to give, or to analyze, or to do anything that we want. So the steps are that we create the model, teach the model, give it examples, and after that we decide what type of uh, specification, clarification, analysis we want this model to do. And then after we train it and give it these examples and train it on these examples, it will have the ability to do what we want. Now, let's say we are going to create a predictive model by finding the relationships between different characteristics of different things. So we here are giving an example about different types of roses. So a person who collects samples of flowers, each sample of these flowers has its own features, has its own characteristics. Whenever he adds this picture or this characteristic to this space, the characteristics would be the features and the label is the space or the species. Okay, let's start by giving an example. As you can see here, this is one example of different types of roses. Each of these roses has its shape, its size, its color, its specifications, number of leaves, where does it grow, how long does it take to grow up. Different features are the characteristics. And the label of this feature or this rose, sorry, is the species. So I have different types of roses. Each of these roses has its own name or its own label and has characteristics. One label might have different characteristics. Some characteristics are in common between different labels or different types of roses. Take this example into cars, into diseases, into human beings, into animals. But this is the common thing, is that we have an object, it has its own label, and it has its own features or characteristics. Some of these features or characteristics are in common, and whenever I merge these characteristics and I tell the artificial intelligence model what algorithm I need to do or to use, it will be starting to use this algorithm, which was also trained on by different developers or by different examples. Here we have ready-made templates or ready-made models. We just feed them with the labels and the characteristics or the objects, and then we choose what type of algorithm we're going to use, and this artificial intelligence solution would give me the results that I want. The step is I start feeding the model by the information, then I would select the algorithm that I want, and then I would get the results from that feeding. Here, as I see, you have this rose, which is Bellis perennis, and we have also another Bellis perennis. We have Tulipa, we have Rosa multiflora. We have different labels, as you can see. We can have, as I told you, some common characteristics between them. How is that defined? By adding these characteristics. Whenever it sees common characteristics, it can start working on them and defining these definitions or characteristics and predicting another or new models or new species of these roses. And maybe when I give it or ask it about a similar rose or an identical rose, it will have the ability to identify it. If it is different, it will use the information that it has collected in order to know if this is a combination or a product of combination of different labels or different species, so it can predict this new species. So again, let's get the idea of machine learning. The idea is that I give all the information that I have, all the features, all the labels, and as much information as I can give to the model and train it on that, on this information, the better results I will get. I will show you that here, then I will show that to you in a practical, easy way in an exercise in Power Platform. Just let me finish this one first. So after give this information, the processing or the manipulation or the mixing between all these different species, it will be taught to the artificial intelligence. As you can see, whenever I ask the artificial intelligence about a species, because it had some information within the database or within the model of the database of the model, it could answer a question of a well-known species, or it can also predict. It can also predict. Types of machine learnings or algorithms we have. We're not going to dive deeply on these, but we should just understand them. We have two types. We have the supervised machine learning, and we have the unsupervised machine learning. And in the side of supervised machine learning, we have a goal of capturing a model or an equation that will try to predict the results. I have two types. Both of them are used to train the machine. One of them is supervised and one is unsupervised. The one that is supervised is made for labels that are in a numeric values. Like if I have, let's say, a bike rental shop. This bike rental shop just can or have records for daily rentals. It's it has the date, it has the type of the bike, the time of rental hours, uh, the person's name, the person's gender, whatever. Let me just discuss with you. From such information, like the time and the date, what information I can get if I have the time and the date. I will be asking these questions. If you have quick answers, please raise your hand and let me wait for you. If you don't, I will wait for a couple of seconds and go on. Again, the question is, whenever I have information related to time and date, these are direct information about time and date, and I have the names and the genders of the users. What type of information I can predict as a human being? What type of information I can predict? So I will save the time and answer. I can predict the rental due to weather. This is, these are numbers. This is called numbers. I can predict the rentals related to weather or related to season. In summer, I'm sure that we have more rentals. In winter, fewer rentals because, as you know, the person who is renting a bicycle wouldn't ride it under the rain or in a cold weather. So as numbers, I can use the regression, which is numbers, and I can take direct answers from that. Another way is the classification. It is categorized based on classification or categorization. As I mentioned earlier, I have records coming from a laboratory. These records include the test results of blood, of heart, of whatever pictures or scans that are being done. And I also have the client's information, their names, their ages, and their genders. I can use regression to predict numbers coming from these results, and I can use classification in order to classify patients based on their, let's say, gender, based on their age, based on their uh, health status. So I can categorize them as uh, diabetes patients or pre-diabetes patients, or maybe heart patient or pre-heart patients that or heart patients. All this is coming from where? From the results or the test results, and mixing them with the age and gender, I can just draw a pattern related to information coming from there, and I might get a conclusion. It's just I'm giving examples that male patients got heart diseases or heart attacks at age of X or Y or Z. Go ahead, Lana. Do you have a question? Okay, I'll wait for. Okay, I saw your hand raised, so I stop. So this is the classification. I classify based on information. Another way, which is the unsupervised machine learning, which is the clustering. When I have, sorry, okay, thank you. When I have large data for different vehicles, like here, these vehicles are different in model, but they have some similar characteristics like emissions, like fuel efficiency, like size, like way of use. So I can be dealing with clustering. Each of these ways to train the machine can be used for different ways or for different results. So I have the regression when I'm talking about numbers. We have the classification when I'm talking about patterns or defining categories. And I have the clusterings, which have a larger scale that of different vehicles or different types of animals or different types of objects, whatever, but they have something in common. So I can merge these information together and give it to the model and start asking the model to give me results or give me things related to these models. So when I start creating a machine learning service on Azure, I need to select which type of machine learning I'm going to do, where the data source I'm going to use, and also the compute power or the compute source that I would need to use with this model. I give it all this information. I start training it. It would be taking a time of training, and this is related to the number or to the size of data I am giving to this machine learning model. Then after it is being trained, I can see all these stages that it is now being trained. When it is done, it would be successfully trained. Then I can start using this model by giving it examples from another place. Let me show that to you in a simple way. I would go to 1 second. I would try that with Power Platform. Then I will do the exercise with Azure, no worries, because here it is like easier to see things, and it is good for you to know the different ways to do that. So I go to make.powerautomate.com. Okay, this is a place where I can use the artificial intelligence models in different ways that are very efficient for me as a student, as a person, or as a business. Okay, here, as you can see, we have the artificial intelligence coming automatically, and it's asking me to describe what I want to automate. This is the natural language processing, the NLP. I would say what I want here, but I'm not here to do that. But let me just give you an example of artificial intelligence on action. Okay, this artificial intelligence you are seeing now is using in its background the Azure services with the OpenAI rules and OpenAI resources in order to help me do what I want here. I will give you briefly the example. Let me say, please, I need to send an email. If you can see here, it will start giving me the suggestions. Get an item from a SharePoint list and send it as an email. Give an access to SharePoint list and send an email. Okay? When a new SharePoint item is created. This is what I want. Does it have When a new item is created in a SharePoint, send an email. As you can see here, it will directly start working on it, saving me the time and effort to do that. But I'm not here for that. I'm just going to show you the example. When an item is created, send an email. This is the draw or the design of the automation that I want. This automation was done or completed or started by artificial intelligence. Okay, this is just a simple example of artificial intelligence, which is kind of a co-pilot that is helping me. But what I'm here for is the AI, artificial intelligence model. As you can see here, I will just show you the main steps in order to give you the idea of what I'm talking about. We have here many solutions that are available. And if you want to get deeper with this, we have next Saturday it's an introduction or a course about this. So if you want to register to next Saturday's model or to the next Saturday's lesson, it will be about Power Platform, which includes a lot of information. So as you can see here, we have different AI models. We have the most popular things related to documents. You can extract document or custom information from documents, like if you have bills that you write or papers that you write about your payments or bills that you get from different places like the grocery, like the supermarket, like the car mechanic, whatever information you can just scan them or take a picture of them and give it to the artificial intelligence model and process this information. As you can see here, we have different types of models. Let me just go with images, extract, as you can see here, or detect custom objects in an image. I will press here. As you can see here, it can take pictures and start reading the labels on these pictures. And I can do that by creating a new model and give it the pictures that I have and extract information from these pictures and applying to my own information or to the pictures that I do have. Okay, I will show you something related to documents, extract data from documents. Okay, here are the documents that are given as an example. Let's create a custom model. I just need to show you quickly how things are done. All you need to do is to pass through training. Then first thing, you give the examples that you want to use. As you can see here, we have structured documents, unstructured documents, and we have invoices. We start by, let's say, structured documents. You will need to give it or upload or do the upload the picture that you want. Before you do that, you would need to select what information you want to extract. I would need to extract the invoice name. Okay, I can look here to see what things that I might need. Invoice number, customer name, client name. Then I would need to have the back client name and would say I would need the total. Okay. Okay. Here I can, let's say I have the the field that is the date. I did create one a date. Okay, now I would add another one, invoice date. I would select date field and would say invoice date. I would give it day, month, year, and done. The next thing, now here I selected what fields I want to extract from these documents. Next, I would say that I would add a training collection or a training source for this data or for this model. Here I have the documents. I would need to add documents. I would select the documents that I have, let's say from my device, from a SharePoint list, or from an Azure resource. I would select here if I have data. Let me see, just I'm giving you this information. I have invoices. I would select at least 5 documents. I would upload these 5 documents, and now I would tell the artificial intelligence, the model, where to get data from. I uploaded 5 examples. As you might read here, at least 5 examples should be given, or maybe 20 is better, or the more different documents, the more training data you would need. So here I would start tagging the information. Let's say I need to tag the name. Here I have the invoice number. Okay, this is the invoice number. I would select, this is the invoice number. I would not select the name, I would select this one. This is the one that I need to tag with the invoice, oops, sorry, with the invoice number. Okay, another one, invoice name. What did I do with what kind of field of that? It is wrong. Okay, I will say it is not here. The client name, I would be, the client is Johnson. I would tag it with the client name, and the total. Let's be, what will be here. This is the total, and this is the total. The invoice date, I have the invoice date. Still, I have, where is the invoice date? This is the invoice date, and okay, I will do that with all the documents. And after I finish, it will go to the, sorry, to the training, and it would be ready for that. This is an example of how easily you can do that. You will have to train the model. Okay? As we said, we split the data into training data. Then we decide what we want to do with that, with this data. We need to have the algorithm, that is regression or clustering or whatever we need a. Then we have, after that, start training the model. Then we'll get the test for that model, and we'll get the results that we need from that model. So what is Azure Cloud or Azure Machine Learning? It's a cloud-based platform for machines that we can create. We have to create it with, this is the definition. This is the Azure Machine Learning. It is the place in Azure when you can do what I did in Power Platform or in the site I showed to you. This is the place which is I can go and start creating what I have created earlier. It should contain or should have a compute, it should have a job to process, and I should select what algorithm I would need to use within that job, and I would have the results that I want. I would need also to give it examples and feed it with data, and will do an exercise about that, okay? Let me just do one thing. Someone needs to admit, okay. Now, we'll see what do we need in order to have an Azure machine learning. As I told you, the first thing we need is the Azure subscription. I explained to you how we can get this subscription. Then I would need to create an Azure machine learning workspace. Then I would need to create or to have a compute power for my machine learning service or machine learning workspace. Then I would create the job that I want, which is what I'm going to use this Azure machine learning service for. And I would select the services that I need, and I would give it the data in order to train it. What is the source of the training? Where is the data? I would select also what am I going to use from this data. I would select the fields that I would need to train the model on. And then I would, if I have different things in the model that I need to do, I would feed that, and then after that, it will be training the model. As you can see here, I have the data. These are the trainings that I need to give, like the algorithm, like the source, like whatever I need to do with this data. Then after that, I will get the model. After I get the model, I would test the model with different real data, similar to the data that I have fed, to see if it is doing what I want from it. Then after that, I can publish this service that I have created. Okay, let me take you first thing, let me take you to the portal where we can create an a service. Let me go to the portal and we'll go here again. I would close this one and create a new one. And how I log to the portal, I would type portal.azure.com. Okay, here I would select the credentials that I have related to that account on Azure. Here I get my subscription. Here is where I have 99.83 credits remaining. Okay, here I have Azure Machine Learning. As you can see, I have Azure Machine Learning. If I press here on View, I would see that I have my workspace. If I need to create a new service, I would need to have a new workspace. I'd press New Workspace. I will select a resource group. I have this one, or this resource group I can use. What is the name of this workspace? I would call it AUDST AI machine learning space. Okay, where is that space being created? You should select the location of this service nearest to your location. If you are in Qatar, if you have in Qatar uh, a central for Microsoft Azure, or what we call it a region, we can create within that region. If I don't, I would select the nearest location or to the nearest region that I have. I will leave it as Qatar. It will create a storage account automatically. It will create a key vault automatically. and it will create everything that I want. I would press on review or create. If I have anything here, I would say review and create. It will check if all the requirements are available and it will be creating this for me. Just let me see something here. I would need to do with you 1 second. Okay, this is the machine learning. It is creating the module. So I would go with you now with a complete example. I would show that to you here. And I will show you that example. I will share it with you. Press here and I will share it on the chat whenever you have the ability to perform. No, you would have to wait for the lab hours if you have the accessibility to Azure. Okay, I'm just showing that to you to see the steps. Okay, this is the exercise. I'm just showing you how we can do that. Okay, here is the lab, or here is the exercise. Okay, as you can see, explore the machine learning studio. I would show that to you. Here are the steps that you need to do. Okay, as you can see, I would move it here and I will explain those steps. I send them to you. As you can see, you have to create. I would show that to you, then I will remove them. You have the steps is that you would create a resource and Azure Machine Learning. That's what I have done. Okay, review and create. Then when it is done, you would need to press on the Launch Studio. Let's see if it's done. Okay, it is done. Okay, this is the resource that I have. Okay, here it's saying, if you want, you can open the link I sent to you in order to follow up with me. I would show you again how to do that. Here is the link I sent to you. You press here and you will be directed to this page. Then you would go to the exercise. Where is that exercise? Okay, this is the exercise. You press on here, then you would go with launch. Okay, I already did that and it is here. This is the exercise I am using. It would be opening this page. So open it, you can follow up with me and see what I am doing, okay? So I'll close this one, and this is what I should go. I will close this one again now, and I press on launch the studio. Okay, let me see your answers. Did you follow up with me so I can go on? Are you following up with me? Just let me know, please.
Sir, I'm following up with you, but it's not the same page that you're currently on.
Can you share your screen, please? Do you have the ability to share? I would do that again, step by step, and show you what I did. Okay, here is the screen. Here is a link
Sir,
that you. Okay. Explore automated. Go down. We are on the same page. Yes, we are on the same page. Let me show that to you. This is the same page. I want you to open this one because you can't have, you don't have an Azure subscription. Okay, so you can do it. Abdul Hakim already has his own subscription, so he can follow with us. But you can do that. We will be seeing a way to solve this, and uh, you could perform the labs after you have your subscriptions enabled. So now, who is that saying that I have just logged? Can you share your screen, Abdul Hakim? Do you have the ability to share your screen? Because this will solve a lot for us. Okay, Abdul Hakim, let's wait until I finish this exercise. And maybe after we finish everything, we'll get back to you and see how did you log into the labs. Maybe we can give the availability or the ability to others because they try to use their school or university account, but they couldn't. So we would be appreciating your help with that. Let's wait until this exercise is finished. Then maybe after we finish everything related to explanation, we'll go deeper with the labs and we'll see how did you do that. Just let me demonstrate how I do things with this exercise, okay? Wait for me and be patient and we'll see a solution for everything. Okay. Now I have done the first step and then I pressed on launch the studio and in the Azure Machine Learning
Sir,
Studio.
we cannot see your screen.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let me just show my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then after I have created the first steps, which are, if you have opened the screen and you are with me, we have created an Azure Machine Learning workspace. Okay, then we have the step 4, which said launch the studio, or you can also use the link here. I would press here and paste the link. You can see it will take me to the place where I can use the workspaces that I have. Okay, maybe if I'm not on the correct directory, I would go to the directory that I am using. Now I have the AUDST workspace that I have created. Now with you, if you remember, we just created AUDST Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning Space. I would select that. Now I can go ahead and continue with the things that I want. Okay, now I would need to enable the preview feature. Here it is already enabled. Just let's make sure that is managing preview feature is enabled. As you can see, it is all enabled. Compare pipelines, view, the things that I want is enabled for me. Then after that, I would go to creating a new automated machine learning. As you can see here, I have the jobs that I need to create. Here I would select a new automated ML or machine learning. I would press new. Okay. What is the job name? The job name would be bike. It is related to something that in a database or an example related to bike rental. So I would give it the name of MS Learn Bike. Here it is. This is the job name. Okay. Do I have an existing project or am I creating a new one? It is a new experiment. The experiment name, I would call it. I'm just pasting everything from the exercise. I'm performing that for you in order that you can know what steps would be done. We'll try to do that within our labs. So we have the tags. I would select none. I would go to the next. Now, what type of algorithm I'm going to use? I'm going to use the regression because I'm here working with numbers. Okay, I would select the regression and I would need to give it information or data. Where am I going to get this data from? You will see. Then this is the regression and I would create a new data set. What is the data set name? I will call it bike rentals. Don't worry, when you do these exercises, you would have a clearer idea of what I'm doing. But now what I am doing is that I am creating a new model. The first step is I created a workspace in Azure. Now I'm creating a new model. Okay, these are the configuration for the model I am creating. Okay, now I saw something on the chat, so I had to go there. What? Let me close this one. Now here I am on this model. Now, what type of information I have? I have information coming from a table, so they are tabular. So I would leave it as tabular. Okay. Next, now I would need to select the data source where the files or the data is coming from. If they are coming from Azure storage, I would select the storage. From local files means from my computer, from an SQL database or from web files. This is our selection. Now I need the URL where the data is. I have it on the exercise, Control C and Control V. Okay. I will not do anything related to data validation. I press on next. Now it is validating the data in the source. Okay, here, what kind of or what type of files I'm using? I am using a comma separated file or a delimited file, we call it. It is delimited by a comma and it is using the encoding UTF-8. Okay, all the files have the same headers. or only the files that has only the first line has headers. So only first file has headers. I would select that. So in order to determine that the first line is the header. Okay. It is loading the data. So I have to wait until the next. So here I can see the information I got. As you can see here, the day, the month, the year, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let me, okay. So after that, do I have anything to do here? Skip rows, none, and we press one. Next, I would take all the data without path. If there is a column that I do not need, I just disable it. Here I need all the fields. If I need to change anything with the type of data, here I have it string, I have a decimal, I have it a date. If you remember how we did that on Power Platform in the automation, the same features, the same requirements, but in different ways. Now we go to next. Here is the schema, include all information. I just skipped only the path. Now we'll go with the task settings. Here we can see all the things we have done, and we'll press on create. It's now creating the data asset. Okay, as you can see here, it is a regression. The source is the bike rental or the target columns. Okay, I would see all these. Now I have the regression used. I have the bike rentals. As you can see here. These are the data these are the information I'm going to use. Everything is ready. If I have any additional thing I would need to go with. Now here is the task settings. The target column, which is the target column? It would be the rentals, of course, because this is the thing I am. Where is the rentals? Okay, this is the rentals. I will see the the additional configuration, primary metric. Okay, these are defaults. Don't worry about them too much because these are defaults. I'm just selecting the things that I need. Everything you need to know about here, you can just press here. It automatically shows explainability, the best model created. I would just select this one. And I will unselect this one. And I would select from here two models. These are the models, the pre-built models that I am going to use here. Whenever you start working with them, you would be knowing these, what are these models, what they do. So here I would select the random forest. We have the light GBM and the random forest. Okay. Then I would press on save. We'll go to the limits. Maximum trials would be 3. Here would be 3 and also would be 3. Again, don't get confused with all these things. Whenever you start building any exercise, you will have all the details related to it. What in general we are doing here, we are manipulating information related to a database that is connected to a car rental, which is based on car rentals. All I'm doing here is I am giving the model the data I want to use. I'm just controlling how long it would take to try, how long it would need to connect, even the threshold, even these things, even the timeout. All these are details. You would go deeper and know about them and know the difference between them whenever you start building the models and see the difference in response and the difference in answer. These are things that are related to details. Okay. Now I would be all this I'm taking from the exercise, so it would be 15. The iteration is 5, and would select the enable early termination if it is not responding. Validation and test. Let's go to the validation and tests. Of course, it would be first of these. I would be validation type. I would be train validation split, and it would be 10, and then it would be next. What I'm going to use for compute, it is a serverless. It is a CPU, of course, not a GPU. I'm going to, because it's cheaper to select CPUs, and it is dedicated, and I need one instance, which means I am using only one processing or computing unit for this job. After that, I would press on submit the training for the job. Okay, it might take some minutes, but now I have created the job. I am now, it is being trained. Okay, here it is not started. This will be changing in seconds or in minutes. This is based on the size of information. Okay, now it is running. It will be running. Let's see why. Maybe I skipped something. So this is the main thing we should start. I would get back to it in a second. Okay. Again, let's get back to the slideshow. This is how we continue with this model. We'll get back to the result after that. No worries. Okay, use a training pipeline. This is the designer. This is another way to start this lab. Okay, I would get back to it. Let's see our lab. What was wrong with that to see? Okay, to check the size failed. Let's see, this is the fail. Why did it fail? The error specified value standard for property VM size not supported here. So it is something related to VM size. It is not supported in this location. But when you do your exercise, just choose instead of Qatar, use US Central or any place in US or in Europe. So these are the steps, the main steps of this exercise. Let me go to another and see here this another exercise. Let me press here and see this one. Okay, machine learning in Azure. This one is the same we are doing. I have another example. Let me show it to you, please, which is related to something called Azure Studio. And here it is. It should be. Okay. It is called the designer. It is another way to design your. I will send that to you now on the chat. This is what is called Azure Designer. It is a place where you can also design your solution by using another feature which is called the designer. We'll press here with and go to the exercise. But first, let me drop it on the chat box so you can follow up with that. Okay. Now I would go to preview this exercise with you. We'll go with the exercise. If you can see this screen, you should be following that from the resource that I showed to you also. Now we'll go to the exercise. I'll press on it and I will move this to the next screen in order to follow up with you. Let me know if you are good until now. I will go to the screen, to the chat, and I need an answer from each and every one of you. Are you good? Are you following up? Is everything clear till now? I'm sure you will get more clear understanding whenever you start performing your labs. But through the demonstrations, is everything well and fine with you? Please, I need an answer from each one of you. I will wait your answers. Okay, that's one. Fatima. Okay, Ghassan or Ghassan. Thank you, Haifa. Thanks to Athena. Okay, thanks everyone. All clear. Great. Lana. Okay. Excellent, Sheikh Farhan. Okay, okay. Great. Now I would go to the next exercise. I will preview it with you. And again, I will go to the main screen. If you are with me on the same screen here, you should be seeing this page. This page is Explore Classification with Azure Machine Learning Design. Okay, I would move it there since you have seen that, and I would follow with it again and from the beginning. Okay, it says here that I would need to go to Azure. All I need to do is go here to Home. Okay, then it's saying create plus on the plus here and create a resource. Search for machine learning. Okay, I would search for machine learning. I'm doing it as step by step and create a new Azure Machine Learning resource. Okay, Azure Machine Learning. Okay, I would need to go with Azure Machine Learning. Press here. Let me close this one and this one. Here I am on the screen. it's stating this to select this subscription and the resource. I would select the same resource, the subscription and the work group, the name, the workspace name, I would say Azure AI, sorry, Azure AI Studio Designer. Okay. The region, I would select US in order not to face any problems. I will leave everything here as is. The storage, the region, the fold, everything would be the same. I would review and create. I press on create. When it is done, I will go to the machine learning site or studio and run from there. The same steps that we have done in the previous exercise. As you can see, it has different things to create. Here is the progress of the deployment. You can press on operation details and you can see everything related to that, the operation ID, the operation name. Okay, it is now ready. I can just close this one and this one. I can go to the resource. And from here, I can press on Launch Studio. Or I can follow here and press on this one. The same steps I did in the last exercise. Both ways will take me to the same place. Here, since I have different directories, the default one is Microsoft, but I'm here using my training. Okay. This is the one that I created, Azure Studio Designer. I press on here, and you can see that I have it created. I can go with this. The last one we used was the automated machine learning. Here we have the designer, we have data, we have jobs, we have different things. As you can see here, I don't have any data. Okay, I would go and select the designer. This is the one I'm looking for. In the Azure machine, select the three dots at the top left of the page's interface to see. You can see compute, manage resources in the workplace, compute, and here you can see here. I press on here to go to compute. This is the step where I create the computing power. here, select here, as you see on the exercise, asking me to select the compute clusters. The clusters are computers or computer powers that I might be using. It might be composed of multiple computers that will be working on the project or on the job I am creating. Here I would go and add a new computer cluster or compute cluster. It would be a dedicated, again, it would be a CPU. Here I would select the virtual machine size. They asked me to select the DS11 version 2, the DS11 version 2, which is less expensive. And I would go with next. Compute name, enter a unique name. It would be UDST Azure ML Studio Designer. It's a long name, but it's for me since I have multiple classes. The minimum number of nodes is 0. The maximum number of nodes should be 2. Okay, idle seconds. If it is idle for 120 seconds, it will scale down. It will reduce the number of nodes. This is a scaling service, a feature on all Azure services. Whenever a service is not using all the resources, it can scale down, which will save money and expenditure on my resources. If I need more resources, it will automatically see if my resources are not enough. It will scale up. Okay. Now we have enable SSH access. It is clear and select create. Okay. Now I am creating the cluster that will be used in order to work with me or for me and the machine learning solution. Okay. Now in the Azure Machine Learning Studio, expand the left pane by selecting the menu icon on the top left and select data. Now, this is the data. It's asking me to create a data resource. It is the asset for the AI model, where this is the data where it will be the source of information. Then I would go to data sets, data assets, and I would go with create. Here I am creating an asset, which is the source of data the AI model will be used for training. What is the data set or the data type? It will be called diabetes data. Okay, diabetes data is the description also. And the data site is tabular, and I need the source of this data. It is from web files. Here I would give it the source and the URL. You can see these are similar steps of what we have done. But from another way, by using the designer, it's delimited, comma, UTF-8. Only first files has headers. Skip row, no. Dataset contains multi-line, do not select. Okay, I will have to wait for ingesting data. Then I will select next. Okay, I've include everything other than path, and then Next. And I will press on create. Here, I will go to the designer now. Is it ready? I guess yes. Okay, I'll go to the designer to show you how it works. Select a new pipeline. A pipeline is the source of data, how it works by creating a new pipeline. Here, I would just change the name of the pipeline that is here. And this is the default pipeline. Okay. Save. Okay, diabetes. This is the diabetes training. Here is already have done that. Now, let's give it some seconds. Hmm. Okay, we have here the data and the components. Now it is ready. Okay, this is the data. We have the diabetes data. Okay, we can press here. This is the data that we are going to use. Here is the way of designing by the designer. You select the source and you can get everything related to that by adding the models that you want. This is the way you use the designer instead of just uh, adding components to boxes and to fields. Here is the designer, which an easier way to be working with. As you can see here, I selected the diabetes. Let me just do one thing. As you can see here, these are some of the data that are included. Okay, we are using the data that we have, which is the diabetes. Just wait for that a bit. Oh, okay. Here it comes. We have the parameters and we have the outputs of these. As you can see, we can see them as diagrams. So this is the way, as you can see, this is the data that we need, and we can just start building over these. This is the data outputs. We can add from here the things that we want to select from the components and select what outputs we want to have. We can use the fields that we need to use. And this is another way of teaching or machine learning. Okay, so now let's go back and summarize everything for you to make it more clear in order to have the machine learning. I showed you one way within. Okay, please just confirm to me that you are here. You are able to hear my voice and see my shared screen. Okay, thank you, Athena, for responding. Then, now we are going to start with the computer vision. I already explained a bit about that. We'll see an exercise about some computer vision related topics. But first, let's understand how the computer or the models understand the computer vision, by what technologies, and how is it available on Azure. Okay, we'll be talking about the computer vision concepts and how do we create these solutions within Azure. So let's start with the model, first part of the model, which is computer vision concepts. How computer sees our world, how the computer sees our world. So as I mentioned earlier, the computer can see the world or our world through digital images, such as photographs, live cameras feeds, or recorded video files, anything that can uh, record or see or take still images can be the eye of the artificial intelligence. Sometimes it is a still picture, sometimes it's a recorded video, and other times it's an stream or an online video directly broadcasting. And while it is broadcasting, we can apply the AI models on this playing or still images to use the services that are available there. Each digital image is actually an array of values, of numeric values, indicating the location, indicating the color, indicating the size, indicating a lots of things. So as you see the screen in front of you, we have what is called the pixel size. This is the image size. So images can be manipulated, can be processed by their pixels. So each pixel has its own location, it has its own characteristics. You can use these locations or these characteristics or these values just like any other data as features to train the model, which means that I can get the location, the color, uh, as a data, and this data would be fed to the model, and then you can use these values, as I told you, to create the model or to learn the model or to apply transformations, calculations, analysis of the image, and find, let's say, for example, patterns like a group of numbers, like uh, covering a picture, covering an object in this picture, or covering this, or representing, let's say, an object in that picture, can be overlaid, and each number of these, or each location of these, or each picture of these, when merged with the picture or with the other pixels that represent an object, can be segmented and taken away, or taken as a part, to be calculated and processed as an object. So it can help us identify these objects. I just can do as I select an object or similar objects in a picture and give them a definition or give them a label for these characteristics, that this is a taxi, or this is an apple, or this is a banana. So I select these pictures even by GUI tools or by coding tools. I select these pixels which have specific addresses, and I tell the artificial intelligence model that these selections are a car, and this car is a taxi car, or this car is a van, or this car is a bus, or it's a motorbike. So similar to any data or any table, I can just say that the picture is divided into pixels. Each pixel has its own location, has its own characteristics. I can collect a group of pixels that represent or make together an object or different objects and use them as I am using any value. In the case of color images, there are more than one layer. These layers might be red, green, blue. This is the called RGB. When calculating or talking or using this RGB in development or in programming codes, you have to use these layers. I will show you another image that will make things easier. Here, as you can see, this is a normal picture. This is a still picture. Even if we have a camera picture or a movie, we can deal with it the same as we deal with any other things. As you can see here, this is what I was talking about. These are the pixels. Each pixel has ranges between 0 and 255 values, let's say values between 0 and 255. So if I select a part of these, each one of these has its own address. These are represented by 0 and 255, just as an example. But of course, this pixel has a different value than this, than that, than any other pixel in the image. So if I select a part of this image, let's say I'm selecting this part. Let me just try to do something here. Okay, let's say I take this bus. Okay, I will be sharing this bus. I will be selecting those pixels. Inside those pixels, I can go much inclusive, or by this way, I can have these pictures or these clusters or these pixels together that are representing this object. So these values within this selection, which is more accurate, are the bus. Maybe I have another object here, another object there. I start by labeling this one as a bus, let's say. Sorry for my handwriting because I'm using the mouse. And here is a car. This is another location, another group of pixels. Here is someone, there is a person, maybe riding a bike, if I am not mistaken. There is another one. There is a tree, as you can see. Okay, we have another tree. We have an object here. So here there is a sign here. And if there was something written on a sign, I can also process that. This is a way that I can take these pictures. Here is the three layer I was talking about, which is representing the colors. Each layer is for a color, one layer for the red, one for the green, and one for the blue. So when you're starting to develop or create any tool or any solution or any service that will be using artificial intelligence services of uh, computer vision, if you need to have colored vision, you should give the colored eye to the system or to the program or to the model. How do you do that? By giving it the 3-layer addresses that represent one of them. Let's say represents the object, the location of the object and the picture. Other 3 layers are used for the colors. These colors or the colors we can see are combination of 3 colors that are used on computer screens or computer cameras. Another level CMYK is used for printing, but now here I am using the screens. So I need the 3 values of these 3 levels. Okay. Here is a car. Here we start with computer or image classification. Here I'm classifying a taxi. This is a picture of a taxi. Let's go deeper here. This is the picture that I was seeing before the one here. Here, as you can see, we have selected bus, we have selected cars, we have selected cyclists. Also, we have trees, we have the sign of red, green, blue that, oh, sorry, it's red and green and blue and yellow. This is for the cars to go on or to stop. This is the traffic sign, we call it. We can also identify it. Here we are classifying the image. The next one is object detection. In an image classification, we use the numeric pixel features to predict the labels for the image. For example, when in a traffic monitoring solution, you might use these image classification models to classify images based on their type, like it is a taxi, like it is a bus, or even it is a cyclist. Maybe we have a smaller car or a truck or whatever. So here is the classification. This is what is called the classification. While in object detection are used to classify individual objects in the image and indicate their location with the image within the image as a bounding box. It is a box that I select or just put around the object, and then you can use it in order to specify these object models are used to such object models such are used to be uh, used for filtering or for answering questions like what are these objects in the image and where are they? Here I can state different or answer different answers. So also another way is to segment or semantic segmentation. The semantic segmentation are advanced a bit for the model of classification of individual pixels based on object they belong to. For example, let's say for the traffic monitor solution, might use the semantic segmentation to put masks on the images to indicate pixels that belong to also buses or cars or cyclists with different colors. So here I can detect an object that is a uh, taxi, and it is a yellow taxi. Here I'm adding something like definitions more advanced. This is a car. This is a small car. It is an convertible car, or it is a full-size car, and it is red. It is, let's say, blue. So here I am giving more advanced or let's say filterable selection with the semantic selection. One last thing I can use is regarding the image analysis is we can build object detection, which is an object detection and classification. It can also be used like I have a person with a dog on the stick. Let's just make things easier. So these models are used to analyze the picture. The more uh, technologies or algorithms I use, the more details I can get from the pictures. Let's say I train the model to detect taxis. I should apply a database that includes different types of taxis. But here I'm just selecting the picture, the taxi on the picture. In order to train it more, I should have another pictures and more pictures to identify the taxi. This is similar to identifying persons. This is similar to identifying buses, dogs, signs, whatever. Another feature which is very important is that I can get what is called face detection and recognition. I can detect the face and recognize it. If this face recognized is built or connected to a database that is maybe connected to IDs or passports, and I can see this person, I can detect his face or her face, and I also can know whom he is. Understand this? This is a database. Let's go with security a little bit. Let's say that whenever you travel from a country, your country to the country to another one, at the airport, there are some security rules or some security procedures, like having the face of the passenger or the picture of the eye, what is called eye recognition. So they scan your face or maybe scan your eye and connect the scanned image to the database that includes your information, your name, your country, where are you coming from, what date did you arrive, when are you leaving, where are you going to stay. So this connection between the face detection and the database that includes the information can be used for recognition. So now I have seen a man on a picture or a lady on a picture. I can add the recognition feature, which will recognize who this person is. Another thing is I can detect a face and see if this face is a happy face or a sad face. And this is built on the features or the look at your face or the faces that has been used to train the model. Now I have a happy face, I have a sad face, I have a scared face. This is similar to detecting the speech. This will come next. So I can now just give a picture. I can take the objects from that pictures, the types of objects of that picture, the persons on that picture, their faces. I can also recognize them. One additional thing is the optical character recognition, which we had to use scanners later before artificial intelligence. We had some documents that contains PDF files that include text. All I had to do is to go and scan these pictures, and I can use them as pictures or use the OCR, which will transform the characters on these pictures into characters that can be used in any text editor. Now I can do that. In addition to that, I can add them to a database which can analyze the text, summarize the text, and give me anything that I want. One of the examples that I have done is a model that scans any book. It summarizes these books. It can have the ability to uh, what we say translated to any of the languages that we have interest in, and it also can create quizzes. I did this for teachers, and they are using it. So now if I have a book, I just give it to the model, I just upload it to the model, and this model will scan the images, which are PDF scanned files, and it will recognize the text in that file. It also has different features like summarizing, like answering questions, and all. And thanks to open AI models that are available now in Azure, you can do that and use all the features that are in the chat GPT, like summarizing, like creating pictures from text, like doing anything you can do with chat GPT. It is now integrated within Microsoft. You would need to have like a license or a permission from Microsoft. You need to apply and they will open that for you and you can just start testing and using this. As you can see here, this is the image classification. This is the object detection. Here is what I'm talking about, what I told you, the semantics. Here is a person with a dog on the street. It just read the image, it detected the object, and it told me that we have a person with a dog on street. I can tell it to give me more details. It will go on and would say we have two taxi cars on the street. More details, it might describe the building or describe the sign here, and as much as you learn or you teach your machine or your model, the more analysis and things it will give you. Okay? Here is the image detection, the face detection. It is detecting here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. It can also give you details about them. Here is what I was talking about, the signs or the text on the image. It can tell you what is written on this, and you can also use this information in this picture. Here we have the computer vision services in Azure. We have the computer vision, we have the custom vision, we have the face detection, and the form recognizer. What is the form recognizer? The form recognizer is that I give it a form and it recognizes it. It might be an invoice, it might be an application, a job application. It can just recognize these forms easily and can answer questions and give you details about these forms because of Azure services. How do we create this? Let me go to Azure a little bit. This is Azure, okay. Let me just show you what was written here. Okay, we have the computer vision, we have custom vision, we have the face and form recognizer. Let's see this on Azure. Okay, let's start with face. I would type face. Okay, here as you can see, we have face APIs. I have my own resource, which is called face recognizer. We have also form recognizer. Now let's say go to cognitive search. Okay, as you can see here, we have all these are used to create a custom vision, a computer vision, face vision, custom vision, speech service, language service, translators, document intelligence. We have lots and lots of things we can do. Related to computer vision, this is what we're talking about. As you can see here, you can create a computer vision. We press on computer vision. We'll give it any name, test. Sorry. This is the subscription. This is the resource I'm going to use. I will keep it the name. I will give it the name of computer vision, computer vision test. Okay. The tier, I would select the free tier. Okay. Also, you should agree with the responsible AI notice, and we press on review and create. And I will press on create. In the meantime, let me again make sure that everything is good and you are getting all the ideas I'm explaining. Please let me see your confirmation here. Athena, احتشام, عهود, Fatima, please, and Ghassan or Ghassan, let me know if everything is fine and going well with you. Please. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you answered me. Now we'll go to see the resource. As you can see here, go to Vision Studio. After I created the service, I will go to the studio. Thank you, Ahud. Here I can see the features I want to do. I can do a lot here. This is the features I can create. After that, I would go back to Vision Studio. I don't have still the key to open that, but I can do it from the portal. Okay, here, and we'll go to the cognitive search. Let me see the Face API. I have one. Okay, I can just create it, and we have, let's wait for the labs and see how to do that. And I have exercise I will do at the end of this model. Just wanted to show you that the ability and the services that are within the Azure portal. So let's get back to the presentation. So how we create, as you can see, we have the image analysis with computer vision service. We have a service that is called a computer vision service. Let me just do one thing. If I can. Let me just go to the exercise. I will copy and paste it to you on the and let's start here and switch. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, I will just drop it on the chat box so you can follow up. Okay, I would open it here. I open it twice. Let me see. This is the exercise. I will launch the exercise. So whenever you are on the same page with me, let me know so I can start just performing the exercise in front of you so you can get an idea about what is happening. So are you with me on the same page? Let me know that, please. The page is here again. I will show it to you so you know where I am. Okay, this is the page. It is titled Explore Image Classification. Okay? Okay, great. Now I would start performing the steps. Here, the Azure AI Vision Service provides useful pre-built models. Whatever in Azure you can use the custom vision, it is explaining what it would do. Now, to complete this lab, you will need Azure subscription. I already have one, and I hope we can manage having one during today or in the coming few days. We'll see what will happen, but let's just start with that. You open Azure portal, and I am now in the Azure portal. It's asking me to create a resource. I will create a resource. It is the create an AI service. This is again an AI service. I will search here for that, the AI service. I will create one here. I will fill all the information. This is the one, and this is the resource group I'm going to use. I will use East to S. I will keep it as it is. I will say custom vision. Okay, this is custom vision. This is the name. The pricing tier would be S0. I will agree and press on review and create. What is missing? Let me see. Something here is missing. What is that? Oh, okay. UDST 2023. Okay. Here it is asking me on the next step to download the pictures that are in a URL. I will copy the URL and show it to you. Here, there are some pictures. When I press here, it will start downloading. I will open this folder. This folder is called names. I will copy it and go to drive D. I will create a new folder. I will paste it here and I will extract it. Okay. I have this folder that has 3 subfolders. One is elephant. It includes different pictures of elephants, giraffe, okay, and lion. Now I am just preparing the data that I will be using on that model. Okay. Now I will go to open a new tablet. Okay, I would make sure that I am in the training. It is on the training, right? But let me, I am here. I will create a new project. I will call it animals detection. The project type is classification. The resource is the Azure AI or custom vision source. This is the one I have created. Okay, custom vision, UDST. Oh, I should have, here I should have selected that, sorry. It is animal. Let me call it detection because I already did this lab with other classes. The description would be image classification. The resource would be the one that I have, custom vision, UDST. It is an classification. It would be multi-class, single tag per time. I would be selecting the general domain for that and create the project. Now I need to add the images I have just downloaded. I would select pics, UDST training. Okay, this is the one, animals. I have the elephant, Control A, open. I would call it elephant. I am now creating the tags or the labels. I would upload. I need to do this for all the pictures. So whenever I give him a picture and ask, what is this picture? It will tell me it is an elephant or it is a lion or it is a giraffe. Okay, done. I need to add more images. I would select the giraffe. Upload. Done. Then we'll add another or the last one. We have added the elephant and the giraffe, and we're adding now the lion. Okay, and would say that is the tag for or the label. Again, done. Okay, now I have the elephant, I have the giraffe, I can rename, I can change type, I can delete. Okay, I have 17 pictures of each of these. Now I can go and select train. I would select train, quick train. Let me go back to the presentation until this is done to see if we have anything to. This is the presentation. Okay, so we'll get back to this presentation. Here, this is we were left. As you can see here, the details it is identifying. As you can see here, this is a computer vision service. The caption would be a group of people walking on the street. Tags. We can tag the buildings. We can tag trees. We can tag person. And inside the person, we can, as you can see, we have an adult, the false, we have racy false, we have gore false. Then these are things that could not be detected or identified from these pictures. But if you can add more clear pictures, so you can detect even some features. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you one question. How would you know from a picture that this person is racy? Can you answer that? Do you have an idea? Here I have a picture and it's saying racy is false. How can I know if a person is racy? No idea. Okay, I might tell you, this is very easy to know. Maybe, or he should be carrying something on his hand, saying that it's just an example. I can talk about Arabs because I am Arab. Let's say is holding a banner saying that uh, Arabs are bad. So here I can see this is racism. Okay, this is a way to see that. This is a way from reading the banner and connecting it to the object that is holding the or this to the object, which is a person holding such a banner or holding such a flag. It would be detecting that he is or she is racing. And more pictures, I can see people smiling. Okay, I can say that they are happy. They are holding any other, let's say maybe they are creating an advertisement for any company, for KFC, for McDonald's. Maybe they be wearing shirts and T-shirts or uh, or holding anything related to this. So we can see that they are creating something related to an advertisement. So here is the way we train the objects. As I told you, we give pictures. Here is a picture by itself for an apple, another picture for a banana, another picture for an orange. But if they come in one picture, I can just use the detection and detect these because I already gave this back or this assessment for the model, it can detect. Now here, as you can see here, this is the face recognition service. This is obvious that this is a lady smiling. If I need a description for this picture, it would say a lady in the supermarket with her daughter, okay? And she is smiling, she is happy, okay? And let me tell you something. There is a level, there is a level of face recognition allowed in general development of models, which is detecting if this is a man or a woman or an adult or a child. But regarding the recognition, it needs some special permissions from the authorities to access such databases. It's not open for everyone. No, it's just if we need to use the face service, we have limits to that. But the governments do not have limits. They can use whatever they want, of course, not interfering with personal privacy or pictures that are in private places. They cannot, in general, they cannot access or cannot do anything. Okay. Here is a way of reading text with computer vision service. As you can see, detect the location of this text. It is printed or is it handwritten? It can also analyze both of these. It can read the text that is printed, or it can read the text that are handwritten. It can take them as text, convert them to text, and you can use them in whatever applications you want. Maybe you go every day to the supermarket with a list of things that you want to get from the supermarket. You write them and you write the price besides them. At the end of this paper, you write how much did you pay. You can just, all these papers, you can just take a picture of them with your mobile phone and apply them to your model that you have created. It will directly take the list of purchases that you did and put it in the model, and then you can extract or do calculations that you want. How many times did I buy non-fat milk this month? How many times did I buy eggs? How many eggs did I buy? How much did I pay for this or for that or for the total? So here is the text recognition. So it can detect the text that is printed or handwritten, and it can analyze it and extract information. Even if it has images, it can extract these and we can work with them. Here is what is called the form recognizer. I already showed that to you. We have some forms that are used in different places or in different productions or in different restaurants. This is the receipt, as you can see, or this is an invoice. It can detect the invoice directly. It can detect that it is an invoice. It can detect the address. It can detect everything, the total, the subtotal, whatever you can do. There are some built-in forms that can be recognized easily. Okay. Then this is the end of this model. Before we get back to the exercise, let's see the review here. And let's start. You plan to build an application. You plan to use an application that compares faces for similarity and identifies individual. What service would you choose? Okay, face, excellent. Okay, you want to use the custom vision and language service together. You also want developers to require only one key and one endpoint to access all your services. What kind of resources should you use in Azure? Which is the service that include all these? It is the cognitive service, because when you create a cognitive service, under the cognitive services, you can use the language and the custom vision. This cognitive service has an identification key, like any of the resources that are created. You just need to use this key and put it in your application in order for it to be accessible. It includes a URL and includes a security key. You want to extract information and perform semantic recognition. What service would you use? Again, I will give 30 seconds. It is the form recognizer because it is, as I told you, it can recognize forms. Now, before we head to the break, let me go again to the exercise we were doing to see if it is done already or not yet. Nope, it is not this one. Okay, this is the one I was creating. Okay, is it the one? Yes. Before I go and publish this, let me make sure that is the one because I have been working on too many today. This is the exercise. Yes, this is the one. Okay, I have created, I have added. Now we'll test the model. Let's test the model. It is ready to be tested. Okay, quick test. We'll give it a URL that has a picture. Let's see this URL. Okay, as you can see the result, this is a 96% a giraffe. This is an elephant 2.9, it is a lion 1%. So here are the tests that has been done for this one. After that, I see that the test is good. I will close this test and I will click on publish. I would give it a name called animals one, because I already have one, and prediction would be the service that I have created. This is the one I would say publish. Now, after this is being published, it will have its own URL icon. Okay, this is published. I press here. Here is just give it a second. It will display me some details. These are the details that I want. Here is the URL that I have, and these are the keys I told you. These can be used with building the application that you want. You'll need to go to Azure and create an application, prepare a client application, and then you can use it from anywhere, from any place. We'll do that completely, I hope, in the labs, but all I need to do now is show you how do we go there. We go back to the Azure. Okay. This is Azure and go home. You need to use some Cloud Shell commands. As you can see here, you can access these Cloud Shell commands. You will need to download some resources from GitHub. These things will do when you start doing that. I'll give them enough time after we finish the last model. Now we'll take a break after 3 minutes for, let's give only 10 minutes for that. and we'll get back, we'll finish the last model, and then we'll start the session for the labs. Okay, let me just start with the last model in order to jump to the labs after that. I hope we can find a solution. Okay, so the last model is now we're going to talk about the fundamentals of natural language processing. What I mean by natural language processing, anything written or anything said can be manipulated or processed through a model or models within the services that are up in the OpenAI or within Azure. So I have text recognition, whether it was written or spoken. We have that called the natural language processing. We can process this information, we can analyze this information, and we can get much details about these uh, written or spoken text or natural language in different languages, mostly in all the languages, and it is advancing more and more. Maybe you'll find some of the technologies supporting English in particular, not supported in other languages like Arabian, like Russian, like Chinese, but it is advancing daily because the teams from different areas of the world are uh, training the models in order to get all these services in all the languages available. So let's start with the first one. As you can see here, we have the text analysis and entity recognition. Text and entity. So the text and entity recognition often helps you to analyze a text document to determine its salient or points or identity or identify the entities in it, like dates, places, people, whatever. For example, a company might use the artificial intelligence models to analyze industry magazine articles to try to find articles that mention their products or executive or determine the main subject of each article. Meaning that we have a company that is using the artificial intelligence in order to scan and read the industrial magazines and to see what is being written about their products or about their employees. Let me just log in. Somebody needs to admit. I will admit persons that are on the waiting. Okay. So this is one example of the text and entity recognition. The text is the written words. The entity might be a place name, name of a place, a date of an occasion, a date of a meeting, or maybe it can be a title for a person like the position, the CEO, the head engineer, whatever. So I can analyze these texts using the entity recognition. The entity is again the name of a place, the name of a person, or the title of a person. Entities are things related to places or dates or main entities to be identified. It can be collected from different sources in order to be analyzed or be used in any Power BI or any report, visual report, or any dashboard, or for your own analysis in order to say or to give rewards at the end of the month. Like, let's say, an example in a university, we have a board that includes all the top students in different certification or different studies. Say they just put this table of honor for the students who have collected the best marks this month and this uh, or that specialty. So all you have to do is to set or uh, give the AI model the certifications or the exam tests or the quizzes that were made this month, and it will take the names, it will take the specialty, and it will take the grades that were collected, and maybe create a report for the best or the top students in each specialty. This is another example. We have the sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis. It calculates the positivity or the negativity of written or said words. Like if you have a restaurant and you have an evaluation that your customers would write a form that evaluates you, or you have a website, or you have an account on social media where people say their opinions or evaluation. Reading these evaluations, whether they were spoken or written, you or the artificial intelligence model can detect the sentiments if they are positive or if they are negative. If they are negative, you should take care of the negative things that you have within your production or your services and work on them. And whether they are positive, maybe you will be rewarding the employees, maybe you will be rewarding the clients themselves. So this is a way to use the sentiment analysis. We also have the speech recognition and synthesis. It is uh, very important to, let's say, enable things like by orders. Whenever you are driving a car, you need to be using the speech recognition and synthesis, which means that it is like a command, or you might need to dictate your computer or your service or the application you are using. Here we are, let's say we have some main words, like when you say, hey, Google, or hey, Siri, it goes directly to the mode of receiving your commands and start applying them. So this is speech recognition and synthesis. We have also the machine translation. The machine translation, it is international and cross-cultural collaboration between all the nations, and it requires to eliminate the barrier of language. So now we have seen a lot of applications that when you say hello to someone in your own language, you can run this application and let him talk in his own language to understand you, and this is similar to you from your side. So you might use the application to go to, let's say, a country with a language that is not mainly used, let's say like Chinese or Japanese, and you speak English and you speak French and you speak Arabic, but you don't know Japanese. So you go to Japan and you receive a visitor from Japan, and you need to talk to him directly without the presence of a translator. You have your own translator on your own device, on your mobile device. So you say, hello, how are you? I'm coming to take you from airport to the hotel. This line or this word that you have said will be ingested by the application and will be translated into Japanese and will be spoken within your side and on your behalf from your device in Japanese to your Japanese guest. So he will listen to you in the Japanese language. Then he will answer you in Japanese, and the device will also translate from Japanese to your own language or to the language you understand. If you are multilingual, you can have it in Arabic, in French, in Italian, and English. Or if you are single language, you don't speak any other languages, you can select it to give you the language that you want. Okay, so the semantic language modeling can be complex and can give you phrases that are uh, different in speaking, but they all have the same meaning. Okay, which means that, let's say I wanna say that, where can I get gas near here? Or what's the location of the closest gas station? Or you might say, I need to fill my car with gas. All these have the same meaning. So a semantic would understand that you need a gas station. This service, the semantic language modeling, takes different lines that have different words, but they have the same meaning. So, and this is mostly used in creating chatbots because people might ask the same question, but in different ways. So I train my model for semantic language and give it all the possibilities and what we call the trigger that needs to be connecting or closing these to the same meaning. The trigger here is gas or gas station. As you can see here, as I asked you, I don't remember the questions, but where can I get a gas station? Or I need to fill my car with gas, or give me directions to a gas station. All these have the word gas or gas station. So the trigger for the answering would be the word gas station. So we have different types of natural language processing or different services, the text analysis and entity recognition, the sentiment analysis, which calculates the positivity or negativity, the speech recognition and synthesis for light, put on the light, turn off the car. These things I can use with systems like home automations, like when I talk to my phone, as I told you, hey Siri, tell me about the weather. Hey, Google, let me know or wake me up at 6. So the phone directly will go to the calendar and set the time of this alarm. It will create it automatically. And I told you, and the last one is the semantic language modeling. Conversational AI, as we have seen it, I guess all of you have seen that a lot, which is creating a dialogue between AI and the human, which is a chat bot. As you can see here, hi, I am Adatium support bot. How can I help you? You can remove the word bot. You can say, hi, I am Marie from Adatium. How can I help you? There's a touch you can give to your bots so that the person talking to the bot wouldn't even know that he is or she is talking to a bot. This will need an extra effort from the designer in order to give it the touch or the feeling that a human being is answering you. We have such things answering in written words, and we have such bots answering in text. So all you need to do is to support your bot with enough answers to relate to the questions that you might face. So this is based on your historical chats. You can have a database that stores all your historical chats, and you know that most of your clients will be asking about a topic. This topic is like creating a new account. So the first thing would be asked, hello, Marie, I am a new client. How can I create a new account? The trigger here is the word new account. It will trigger on the chatbot and it will take or prepare the data related to this word and start answering the person who is talking. Like, how are you? This is Marie from Datium support. How can I help you? Okay, please, I need to know how to create a new account. Okay, please, can you tell me your name? I will say that my name is Khalid. Okay, Khalid, welcome to Adatium. I will guide you through the process of creating a new account. Are you ready? You would say yes. Okay, please, Khalid, go to this website or go to this link, start filling the form, blah, 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 and you would be answering, okay, thank you, that's done. Okay, when you're done, it will ask you, is everything done? Would say, yes, thank you, Marie. You are welcome, Khalid. It was a pleasure helping you. Do you have any other question? You would say no, and this no means that this is the end of the dialogue. And then Marie, which is a bot, but you feel that she is a real person, would tell you, okay, thank you. If you need anything else, please contact us anytime at this chat, this link or this number. This is a way that you create a conversational AI. All you need to do is to create the service. You can create it in Azure, and you can create it also in Power Platforms, or you can create it in any other way using the the model would be, or the engine would be, the conversational AI, and all you need to do is to fill all the data needed. Maybe you have a question and answer file that you already prepared. All you need is to feed to your conversational AI, and it will be creating the triggers, creating the answer, predicting the questions, and answering them. And as much as you give your bots data, as much as it will be able to answer questions asked by different clients. Well, is that clear, guys? Is the idea behind that clear? Please, 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 let me see your answers before I continue. You can just, okay, thank you, Angela. Athena, thank you, Athena. عهود احتشام. Everyone, please let me know if everything just by sending anything. Okay, thank you, Fatima. I know you would say theoretically, but we will go to the trials as soon as we can. Okay, so, okay, thank you. Now we'll go to see a natural language processing. As you can see, the language, we can detect the language, we can detect the phrases or the key phrases in a text that is written or spoken. We can see the sentiment analysis. I've explained that. We have question answering, and we have conversational language understanding. Okay, also we have the speech, text to speech, speech to text, and speech translation. This is the example about the Japanese visitor that I told you about. We have also the translator that can translate text, it can translate audio. And if you have seen, we have a lot of co-pilots or AI models that are now presented on different websites. They can have the video that you want. They can summarize this video. They can, or it can summarize this video. It can translate this video, and it also can take notes from this video. We have many examples, different examples that are online and working. And as I told you, and as I explained, the chatbot service. Let's say here, analyzing a text. I had a wonderful vacation on France. Let's now chat together. We all chat together. Let's say when you read this text, what can you take out from this text? So, Athena, I will ask you this question. What would you take from this text as entities? Anyone can answer. Entities is the places' names, is the person's titles. Here we have an entity which is called France. Okay, this is, yes, exactly, it's a France. Okay, the main language is English. The sentiment 88% positive because we have wonderful. The key phrase, wonderful vacation. The entities are France. So I have from this 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 words, skipping the A and N. I have 5 words. I could analyze the text and get 4 main things from it. I could take the language, the sentiment, the key phrase, and the entities. Okay, speech recognition. Here we have use the speech to text capabilities of a speech service to transcribe audible speech to text. And we can see that now in any of the services. It is built on in Teams. I'm talking and the system or the bot is writing what I'm saying. This is the transcribe. We have the use the text to speech of the speech service to generate audible speech from text. So I can just use now the Edge. As you can see, let me show that to you. In Edge, we have a service. Let me here. Okay, this is Edge. Let me find any written file, PDF file. I would go to File Explorer. I would go to let me see if I have any book here. I'm sure I do have books. It's in the MCT. I would show that to you easily. I know that you have, maybe you have, let's see, this is the assessment guide. Okay, you can see the read loud. I don't know if you can. Could you hear that? I don't know if you could hear it, but here it is reading for me the text that is written. It is being read by the bot. Okay. I don't know if you could hear it. Okay, this is an example. You can try it yourself on your computer. I know you can, but it needs from me to stop the sharing and restart it again. Let me show that to you. Wait. Okay, can you see my screen now again? Okay.
Sections. Section 1. Presentation questions. Guidance for assessing student mastery as they progress through the course. This section includes a set of items for each course presentation that can be used throughout the course to monitor student progress and inform your instruction. The assessment items are a mixture of multiple choice questions and open-ended questions. Section 2. Capstone Project. Guidance for using a capstone project to assess students' ability
to apply what they have learned throughout the course to a real-world scenario. This project requires students to create and deliver an Azure Machine Learning talk based on client requirements and includes guidance for both students and the instructor. This guide is intended to be a reference and starting point for instructors as you plan how to assess your students. As you read through the guide, you may choose to tailor the assessment strategies, including the assessment items and rubric, for your classroom. Table of content.
Contents. Overview. 1 section 1 Presentation questions. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين. أبنائي طالبة وطالبات المستوى العاشر، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدنا أن نقدم لكم كتاب المستوى العاشر في مادة الدراسات الاجتماعية.
So did you see what was happening? I could select in the voice option. This is a built-in service on Edge. I didn't use any models. I didn't do anything. I just went to Edge and opened a PDF file, and I could read it loudly. I could read it in English. I could read it in French. I can read any files. As you can see here, I can select different languages. This is France, this is South Africa, Ethiopia, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait. Even in Arabic, I can select different persons. Okay? Did you hear that? Well, yes, okay. Then let's continue. Believe me, Fatima, there are many things. Let me just finish this lesson now, and let's jump into practical to see how much I can give you examples, okay? Now, this is the speech, the translation. As you can see, it can translate from any language to any other language. I will show you many examples that I have. Here is the conversational language understanding. Switch the light, this is an entity, and on is an order or the utterance. So, and this is the intent, which is the lamp. So this command would be working to, okay, Azure Bot Services. They are persons like who can answer any question, and they could be computerized or be led to show you everything. Now let's answer this final review and see how we will take just 5 minutes break and start to try to start the labs or do things that we can help you through. Now, what are some capabilities included in language services? Since someone answered, we have text analysis, question answering, conversational language understanding, which includes the translation within it, of course, always. Okay, you want to use language service to determine the key talking points. Okay, which feature of the service should you use? I will answer that. It is the key phrase extraction. And you want to create a knowledge base for bots. What service would you use? Conversational language understanding with language service, question answering with language service, or Azure bot service? Question answering with language services. Okay, and it's a part of the Azure bot service.